Good day, everyone. A very good afternoon once again. So here we are all there. Please, welcome to the Middle East Teaching and Learning Conference. My name is Bushra Afreen, and I'm working as an academic and pastoral lead in Rosary British School, which is in a beautiful suburb in Halwan area on the borders of Dubai and Sharjah. So I'm actually very happy that I'm a part of the panelists or the presenters of the Middle East Teaching and Learning Conference. I'm very glad for the opportunity and would like to thank the editor, Mrs. Lisa Grace Wilson, for providing me this opportunity to share the best practices that we all educators have been carrying on since years. So today I'm going to talk about some pedagogical innovations, and I'm very glad that I'll be sharing it with a wide network of educators around the world, I mean globally. So here I would like to introduce the pedagogical innovation that we have done as part of HP IDEA Innovation Fellowship Program. So we took up gratitude as a pedagogy, and I would like to discuss how we have actually made use of gratitude as a pedagogy into our classrooms to make sure that teaching and learning is impacted and it is taken with ease, but not as a tension or something like a burden. So here I would like to share my screen. Give me a second. Yes, there we are. And I'm going to share the screen. I hope that's visible to everybody here. I'll go on a slideshow mode. Yes. So here we are. Yes, I hope this is visible to all of you. So yeah, again, I would like to thank Lisa Grace Wilson for providing me this opportunity. And here we are in the Middle East Teaching and Learning Conference, August 2022. And like I said, I'm going to talk about pedagogical innovation in teaching and learning. And the introduction part I've already given about myself. So without further ado, let's move on. Now, I want to talk about what is a pedagogical innovation. So here, what I would like to do is, give me a second. I would like to take this up so that it is visible to you all. Yeah. So I have taken this from Google itself, like what exactly pedagogical innovation is. And once I'm done with this, I'll come further to tell you how we have innovated in educational pedagogy and what models we have come up with, keeping in mind gratitude, empathy, care, and respect that needs to be built amongst the students, the staff, and how it's going to be transferred to the community, and then so on. So like you can see it on screen, it's a process that reinvents teaching practices for supporting student learning. There is a goal of better supporting student learning. Why we have kept this in mind is supporting the student learning. Why have we kept this as a goal in our mind is we would want to support them in all the possible ways so that we are able to reach out to them at their maximum potential. Now, gratitude as a pedagogy, like I was discussing, we brainstormed it while the fellowship program was going on, and we as a team of 7 members actually have taken it up, and specifically Miss FASAHAT, one of my colleagues, she has invented a model, the 4F model of gratitude as a pedagogy. Before we move on to that 4F model, I would like to go ahead with what exactly gratitude as a pedagogy means. Now, this is again taken from Google, but everybody has their own perception, own way of explaining how gratitude can be implemented as a pedagogical practice in classroom. Now, as you can see it on screen, it creates a state of preparedness and awareness about learning inside and outside the classroom, including online environments and external environments, like we take our students into the ground, to the park, to community outings and all that. So how can we develop gratitude as a pedagogy amongst our students? It's nothing but whatever a child does or they have learned, they need to be thankful for that they have actually possessed that kind of a skill on that particular day, and they should realize they should be building in the feelings of empathy, care, and respect, which you can see are a part of UAE's ministries thoughts. All the leaders of UAE, they are compassionate about empathy, they are compassionate about care, respect, tolerance, in fact. So all these things were kept in mind, and then we brainstormed with this idea of gratitude as a pedagogy. Now, like I was talking to you all about FASAHAT'S 4F model and how we are going to make use of that 4F model when we are going to teach in our classrooms. There are 4 different steps that the 4F model follows. As a teacher, everybody would like to step into the classroom which has students full of cheers, happiness, and she or he would want them to learn and be thankful for whatever they have learned on that day. So to invoke interest amongst the students, this classroom implementation model was created by Ms. Fasahat, which has 4 key elements on focus, fetch, focal, and figure. In the next slide, you'll be able to see that, how nicely she has done. Well, that's my friend Fasahat. So I would like you all to focus on what she has done here. So she has invented this educational teaching and learning model. You can see that's the framework actually to apply gratitude as a pedagogy to achieve tolerance, which is the key factor, or has been termed, all the UAE leaders are very keen on the value of tolerance, the contributions tolerance can pay towards society. So keeping in mind all those things, this model was created by Ms. Fasahat. And this is a classroom implementation model. It's a cycle that starts from focus, fetch, then figure, and then focal. So once you start planning your lessons, we have in fact changed the lesson plan also and embedded these 4F model and the assessment model and leadership model too, but we are working on a different leadership model, so I have not included that in this. We are working on it. As soon as we are done with it, we are going to share it with everybody else. So here focus talks about the objectives for the implementation of gratitude as an applied pedagogy in a lesson plan of a specific unit. You can see that. So all the objectives are developed focusing on tolerance, resilience, and gratitude, which are very much required in today's generation. So as we move on, the phase of planning, preparing, and aligning lessons objectives, we move on to fetching the topic around the elements of tolerance towards others, then resilience and gratitude. And we have to see how our topics are linking with that of focus, fetch, focal, and figure, how these are linked to each other. Suppose you're teaching a lesson in moral education, or probably you're talking about family, that is a part of SST or UASST, or it's a part of science, or it's a part of math. So you will have to fetch the topic towards the elements of tolerance, gratitude, resilience. So we are going to link it up that way. And this is how it is done. And then we move on to the third part of the 4F model, which is figure it out and ways to apply methodology. So how are we going to figure out and how are we going to apply the methodology so that students meet the expectations or go beyond that? And they also understand the importance of gratitude, importance of tolerance, and develop all the skills related to resilience, care, empathy. Now comes the phase of application. Here, the lessons objectives, sorry, this would be the third step. I'm so sorry. Then we come on to the figure. So here, the focal point of content, lesson plans, objectives, and all that. So this 4F model, if you go through this very carefully, keenly, you will be able to apply gratitude as a pedagogy into your classrooms. And based on this, we can design our lesson observation tool as well. Besides looking out for differentiation, besides looking out for how we are going to serve or cater to different levels of students in our class. Other than that, how are we going to develop the attitude of gratitude amongst our students, linking the topics that are there in our curriculum, in our lessons, or in our term-wise plans? All in all, the entire curriculum would be assessed through this. Now, moving on further, how after implementation, after the classroom implementation model, how are we going to assess the students? That is what we are looking out for, because even though we hate to do that, we would always, all the boards, they are specifically looking out for assessments, examinations, and all that. So how can we make those assessments child friendly? So with this model, which is created by me, Afreen's assessment model. Well, my name is Bushra Afreen, but everybody calls me by the second name Afreen. So the assessment model is named under that. So this is a wheel of eyes. That's the inquiry model through which we are going to assess the understanding or the learning ability or the implementation of the 4F model through this wheel of eyes, because inquiry-based learning is very much required in classrooms, even though we are talking about gratitude as a pedagogy. But how are we going to assess the child? How are we going to assess our students? How are we going to make use of data? How are we going to make informed decisions while keeping in mind the data that is there? So here I would like to focus on the 5 eyes, the wheel of eyes, which is intent, then followed by inquiry, investigation, and then immersion, implementation. So based on these 5, wheel of eyes, we are going to assess each child's ability to understand, and also make sure that we have made use of gratitude as a pedagogy, not just for the namesake, but we have actually built in all those qualities amongst our students so that they become responsible and resilient future citizens. Now, the intent, when we talk about intent in this wheel of eyes, the inquiry model by Ms. Afreen, which is myself, we talk about the intent, we talk about how the children, like when we focus on differentiation, through differentiation, we provide them opportunities to choose the way they would want to learn a particular task or achieve a particular goal while you have assigned them a task. So it's the intent of the child with which he will be choosing a method, a way with which he would want to learn that skill. That's where the intent lies in. And as soon as he does that, he or she will be focusing on inquiry, which is why and how is he going to do that. So why did he or she opt for that particular question? Like we talk about explore boards, we talk about learning menus, we talk about choice boards. we provide them an opportunity to choose the way they would want to learn from there. That's a part of intent. And why they have chosen is a part of inquiry, followed by investigation, how they are going to do this, which would be what would be the easiest way to know about a particular task that they are doing to accomplish that particular task that they have chosen with that particular intent. And then they will be immersing into research. They will be looking out for links, which is extracurricular links, or how they are going to link it to real life what do we call this, real life application, how they are going to do that. So these intent, inquiry, investigation, and immersion, they are all done step by step so that they reach the point of implementation where they come up with a final product. So when you look at this wheel of eyes, the inquiry model, you will also be thinking about how the design thinking model goes into it. I was quite inspired by the design thinking model, which is very much being followed by all the educators across. So I'm still working on research. I'm still looking out how well I can modify my wheel of eyes, the inquiry model. But this is how the students will be selecting their task, and then they will be inquiring why they have chosen this task. Then they will be investigating how they are going to accomplish the goal, the task that they have chosen. Then they will do the research in the immersion part. And finally, when they have done the research, they have got a prototype over there, and that's how they are going to implement it. That is, they are going to apply what all they have learned in all the 4 steps, and then they will be designing or working on the final submission, that is the implementation part of this inquiry model. And that's how the learning objectives which were set in the 4F model by Ms. Fasahat, those will be closely linked to the assessment model. That is, AFLs are a must, a part of each and every lesson, and you will be checking for understanding. So this inquiry model will be supporting the 4F model, which is a classroom implementation model. So both go hand in hand, where a lesson is planned by the teacher and it is being implemented, and the wheel of eyes is an assessment tool to check whether the 4F model is being implemented appropriately or not. Since I'm running short of time, I'm just talking about the overview of these 2 models. But very soon, we will definitely be coming up with something really very interesting that you will be able to understand at a very deeper level, talking about gratitude as a pedagogy, and how the 4F model is implemented in classrooms, how the lessons are planned, how in fact you can plan ahead of time using the 4F model, and the assessment model, the wheel of eyes, how it acts as an AFL tool for you to check for understanding while the students have chosen the task of their own choice and are working on it to achieve the learning goals, their learning objectives. And finally, we receive the learning outcome. Now, next, like I said, the relationship between the assessment 4F model and the assessment model. This is for implementation of tasks in classrooms, like I said just now, with gratitude at the center of instructional teaching and learning, while the wheel of eyes is to develop the attitude of gratitude, and that the assessments are not left behind. The AFLs are done hand in hand with the 4F model, and the qualities, the essential qualities of tolerance, resilience, care, empathy are also built together, and we make responsible future citizens. So once again, I'm sorry. So what next? So here we are working on the leadership model and its pedagogical implementations. We do not want to restrict the classroom implementation model and the assessments model up to the students only, but for the leadership, how gratitude as a pedagogy can also be implemented, will also be looking into that, which we are currently working on. We did have a model, but it's not good to use others' model. So we are creating our own model, which we will be very soon, inshallah, coming up with and sharing with everybody. So I would like to conclude this session and would like to thank Ms. Lisa once again for this amazing opportunity that she has given to all the educators around the world. And yes, I would want you all to please connect with me on Twitter and on LinkedIn, that's given over here. And I'm looking forward to be a part of wonderful sessions in future too. Thank you so much.